In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get the right virtual address for your business, what to look for, what to avoid, and how to choose the best one based on what you exactly need. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see is business owners using the wrong business address on their LLC document, and it ends up costing them in lost funding opportunities, credibility, and privacy. But because you follow me, you're going to set your business up the right way from the start and potentially save yourself thousands down the line. Now you might be wondering, what is a virtual address? In simple terms, it's a real street address that you can use for your business without actually physically being located there. So let's talk about why having a virtual address actually matters, because this isn't just about getting an extra service. It's really about protecting your privacy. When you use your home address for your business, you're putting your personal information out there on public records, on your website, and on your invoices. Secondly, you would want a virtual address because it makes your business look more professional. When someone sees a real business address instead of a residential one, it immediately builds more trust. And this matters more than you think, especially when you're dealing with clients, banks, and even applying for funding. And then we have the third benefit of getting a virtual address. It helps you separate your business from your personal life. And this truly is one of the foundational steps that really shows you have a real business. And in truth, you don't want everything tied back to your home. Having a separate business address helps you start creating that separation early on. And then for the last benefit that I really want to focus on is that with a virtual address, you have more flexibility. You can receive your business mail from anywhere around the world. You're not tied down to one location. In fact, a lot of these services will scan your mail and forward it to you. And so overall, getting a virtual address is really about setting your business up right. Because small decisions like this one, your address, your email, your structure, define whether or not your business succeeds long term. And this is important because it's not the same as a PO box. With a virtual address, you can get access to a real commercial address, like a professional office building that you can use on your LLC documents, your website, and your marketing campaign. In fact, most office providers will also let you receive mail, have your mail scanned and forwarded to you no matter where you are. They'll even accept packages on your business's behalf and give you access to meeting rooms, which works really well for online businesses, home-based businesses, content creators, and service providers. Basically, anyone who doesn't need a physical office but still wants a professional presence. And so now that you understand what a virtual address is and how it works, the next step is making sure you choose the right one for your specific situation, because this is where a lot of people go wrong. And so before you choose anything, you need to get clear on what you actually need the address for, because not every virtual address works for every situation. So ask yourself, do I need this for my LLC registration? Do I need this for business banking? Do I need this for mail forwarding? Or do I want my business to look more established and professional? Depending on your answer, you might need a completely different type of service. And so you don't want to make the mistake of choosing the cheapest option if it doesn't give you the flexibility and services you really need. So now that you're clear on what you need a virtual address for, let's get into the first step. You first need to choose the type of business address that actually fits your situation. And this is important because not all virtual addresses are the same. There are three main options you're going to come across. Option one is going to be for a registered agent. Now this one gets people confused a lot. It's only supposed to be used for your legal documents and your state correspondence. So yes, you do need a registered agent for your LLC, but you shouldn't rely on this as your primary business address. Then for option two, we have a virtual mailbox. This is the simple and affordable option. And so with a virtual mailbox, you're mainly getting mail receiving, mail scanning, and mail forwarding. Everything is handled digitally, so you can check your mail from anywhere. This is a great option if you run an online business, you just need a mailing address, and you want something that's low cost and flexible. But keep in mind, with a virtual address alone, it's more for mail handling, not building a strong business presence. Which brings me to option three, which is a virtual office. Now this is a step above a virtual address. And so with a virtual office, you're getting a real business address, usually in an office building or a business center. And depending on the provider, you may also get access to meeting rooms, office space, as well as access to a live receptionist. And so this is a strong option if you want a more professional business presence. You plan on meeting clients, you're thinking long-term about your credibility, and you want to include your virtual office as your business address on your LLC documents. And so just to keep it simple, if you want mail handling, go with a virtual mailbox. But if you want a more professional business presence, go with a virtual office. And then for your registered agent, only use it for legal purposes. Now that you know what address you need, the next step is choosing the right company to actually set this up. And this is where a lot of people either make it really easy or really complicated. And so I would recommend slowing down a bit because not all providers are built the same. In fact, in my personal opinion, the best one is Alliance Virtual. And so in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to set up a virtual office with Alliance Virtual, who is a sponsor of today's video. And so Alliance Virtual is a great choice if you want a more professional business presence. So instead of your address showing up as a residence or a mailing center, it shows up as an actual business office, which makes a big difference in how your business is perceived. And depending on the plan, you may also get access to meeting rooms, mail handling services, and a live receptionist. Now, if you don't need a full virtual office, there are simpler options available. But if you want the full setup, a virtual office is really what you're looking for. Once you've chosen your virtual address provider, the next step you want to do is make sure the address you're getting is actually a real usable business address. Now we're going to walk through together how to actually look this up. So I'm here on the Alliance Virtual website, and when you're looking at different locations, the first thing you want to pay attention to is the actual address. You want to make sure it's a real commercial location, something that looks like a legitimate business address. What I like to personally do is take the address on the website and paste it into Google. And so some of the things I look for is, does it show up as a real office building? Is it located in a shopping center, or is it a standalone building? And is it physically close to me where I could go in person to pick up mail if I needed to? And so running through a few of these checks gives you a quick sense of how your business will be perceived by potential customers and lenders. And now the next step, and this is something most people skip, is verifying the business address. And so you can go to the USPS website and use their address lookup tool. You want to paste in the address, and what you're looking for is if it is a valid deliverable address. Because if the address isn't recognized, that can cause issues with receiving mail or setting things up later on. Once the address checks out, the next thing you want to look at is specific location services. And so within a given plan, you want to see, do they offer mail scanning? And if so, how much does that cost? Can they forward the mail to me? Can they receive packages? As well as, do they give me access to an online dashboard to manage online mail? In addition, can I add multiple business addresses in one location? And so these are very important questions you want to ask early on before deciding on a virtual address. But most importantly, you want to look at pricing and how long the contract terms are for. And so some contracts can be for 3 months, whereas others can be for 6 or 12 months, which means that you're guaranteeing that you will rent out that space for a set time period. And so this will help you know exactly what you're getting before you purchase the actual service. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to set this up correctly once and then reuse the service as you need in your business. And so once you've found a solid address and confirmed everything checks out, now you're ready to actually sign up. And so the good news is that Alliance Virtual makes the process of setting up your virtual office very straightforward. And so once you make that purchase, Alliance Virtual will send you a few emails. One asking you to fill out form 1583. And so you'll need to fill out this form and get it notarized. Once the form is filled out and your identity is verified, Alliance Virtual can now receive mail for your business. And so once you're approved, your business address is officially live and you can start using it right away. I would recommend that you update your new business address across the board. If you set up a virtual office as the first step, then you don't have to make any updates. But if you have a business that's been around for a couple of years and you're going back to change your address, then there's a few places you want to make sure now has your virtual office. The first place you want to update your business address is with your LLC documents, especially if you use your home address. Secondly, you want to update the IRS. Third, you want to update the banks and any funding partners that you have. In addition, you want to update invoices, your website, and any directory listings. And so if you made it to this point, I want to congratulate you for successfully getting a business address and updating it across the board. Before you go, I want to mention some key mistakes that I don't want you to make. The first one being choosing the cheapest address. If the cheapest address isn't going to give you the privacy and protections you need, then don't do it, because at the end of the day, you can't put a price tag on privacy. And then the second mistake I see is using your registered agent address as your business address. And so if your registered agent doesn't give you permission to use that address as your business address, they can throw out or lose your mail, and it will fall back on you. And so if your business entails very important documents, you don't want to chance them getting thrown out. And then the third mistake I see is not double checking what's included. And so if you need mail scanning, mail forwarding, or a live receptionist, make sure to get those services early on, because it will be an additional headache trying to fix that later. And so if you follow these exact steps, you will successfully set up a virtual address for your business. Let me know if you have any questions, and make sure to check out Alliance Virtual in the description below so you can get started in setting your business up properly. I can't wait to see you next time. Peace, stay building.